titled Daycare Educator Doesn't Say Anything Positive About My Child, and it's starting to upset me. Welcome again to my tens and tens of friends. It is me, teacher TJ, and today I will be reading you a Reddit post. This Reddit post, it's in the toddler subreddit by user B Clam, and it is over a year ago, and it's titled Daycare Educator Doesn't Say Anything Positive About My Child, and it's starting to upset me. Am I being too sensitive? And I think in one of our recent posts, one of the parents wanted to know if the daycare teacher was being honest about her child because they didn't tell her everything. And the way that a education professional replied to that was, if I told you everything, you're going to think I don't like your child or it's going to start to upset you. So we do not say every little thing that a child does throughout the day because no parent really wants to hear that. One. Two, we probably would just say if things got drastically worse or exceedingly better. So, yeah, let's see what this parent has to say and we'll read some replies and then I will catch you all in the next one. OP starts by saying, my son is 2 years old and 4 months. He goes to daycare 5 days a week. In the past month or so, whenever my wife or myself speaks to the lead teacher or the lead educator, her remarks about him seem to have a negative connotation. Okay. This morning at drop off, for example, she mentioned how he runs away when it's time for a nappy change. And I responded, yeah, he does that for us too. We just love when y'all respond like, yeah, they do that at home. What? That doesn't sound like a solution, but okay. He thinks he's so funny. Other remarks lately usually relate to the fact he's clumsy or the fact he doesn't always listen, like he doesn't help pack away toys. Edit. Should add here that at home, he's much better at help with packing up than he used to be. We know. Last week, we got a couple of phone calls about incident reports. He's fallen over and they've had to ice him. Sounds funny. They had to ice him. I already know that he's a super energetic kid and he loves to climb. This means he does have accidents sometimes. I already know he doesn't always cooperate. What do you want them to say? I get that he might not be the easiest kid to care for, but I also know he's funny, sensitive, intelligent, and a good natured kid. Yes, I realize I'm biased because he's my son. I love him more than anything else in the world. But even if he's hard work sometimes, to me, it far outweighs by all the things I love about him. He's your child. Not saying that the teacher can't also love those things, but your child, teach your child. You're a mom, that's the teacher. Yeah. I appreciate the educator's position is a bit different, right? She has a whole group of children to look after. I know it's a difficult job, and I have nothing but appreciation and admiration for educators and teachers. But it's been weeks since I've heard her say something nice about him. Stop looking for it. You know who your kid is to you, so don't get bogged down with what the teacher thinks about your child unless it's affecting him in a way that he's starting to seem a little bit more upset or he doesn't want to go to school because the teacher is mean, or if his self-esteem is starting to take a hit because the teacher always complaining. If you don't hear any of those things, I need to hear about his behavior, but just one nice comment about him every now and then will make the other comments more palatable. Stop asking. It's gotten to the point that her inability to say something kind about him is making me question the care she provides for him. And that's why we don't say, you can't tell him every day that your child was stripping again today and run off the list of things that they do every day. That still hasn't changed. All I will say was, yeah, they had a day, but we'll continue to work with them. And then the parent was usually saying, we'll work with them too at home. Yeah, because that's that parent's child. They love them. And sometimes what a teacher might know of the kid is not what the parent is true knows about the kid, because they might not need to cry about every little thing at home. Why? Because everything belongs to them, or they might not need to fight for the toys. Why? Because all the toys belong to them. They might want to help clean without any pushback because mom and dad don't play at home. And what the teachers can do at school is not what mom and dad does at home. So, yeah, they're quick to clean up at home and it might not be the same at school. So, it is what it is. And that's why you should not tell the parents something negative about their kid every day, because you could be going above and beyond to provide care for that child. But if all that comes out of your mouth is something negative, me as a parent, I would probably question your care too. But my kids, even at the 3, 4-year-old age, was able to have good conversations with me. So apart from this one educator, the daycare has been brilliant. He loves it. Okay, good. So there's nothing to worry about. I would guess he's never upset to be dropped off there. Yep, that's what we're looking for. I've seen other educators hug him and even give him a little kiss off. He has friends there he loves playing with. So it's really annoying that this one person is spoiling the place a bit. Is she though? You asked the question, she gave the answer. She probably needs a little bit more coaching on how to talk to parents because even that part is not easy. I swear, being a teacher is hard work, but I'll say it in a heartbeat. It's not the kids, it's the parents. Because like the kid probably clearly loves it there, has great days there, has many of friends, and the teacher loves them. And but the one teacher who clearly must be taking good care of him, because if not, I'm pretty sure he would let mom and dad know, but because she doesn't have anything to say positive about him every day, there's an issue where there's not an issue, in my opinion. My wife slash son's mother feels pretty much the same way I do. But I've only written this from my perspective because I don't want to miss her feelings. Does anyone have any advice? My plan is to ride this out until he's 3 when another educator will be his lead teacher. But it is truly starting to wear me down a bit. And like I said, I would not let that bother me because he seems happy. He's not fighting about going. One thing that I would say as a parent is this is your child's first educational experience, okay? Preschool, daycare, childcare. That's their first educational experience. So with that in mind, that child is going to have approximately 13 more years of teachers. It's a learning experience for everyone. You know, how to deal with teachers who don't think the world of your child. And it's not that, and you can't even really say that she doesn't think the world of him because the fact of the matter is he likes going to school. So we'll read some replies and then we'll be done with this. Ready for today. You already know it. Replies and says, at the end of the day, ask for a quick recap. What's one thing he did well today? And one thing we can work on at home. And I wouldn't even say ask for that every day. I would say ask for that. I would say ask for that at the end of the week. Like, and perhaps you can work on affirmations with him before bed and before school, since he may not be getting a lot of direct positive feedback during the day. I agree with that too. Before my kids go to bed, I always hit one highlight of the day of something that made me proud and tell them a positive aspect of their personality that I noticed. You're a good person. You matter, and the world is a much better place because you're in it. It was very kind of you to do dot dot dot. The OP replies and says the affirmation things is such great advice. Thank you. Right, because you don't want your child to lack any self-esteem based on how that teacher might feel. Katie Did It says, my kiddo is having a tough time at pre-K and I do the exact same affirmations every night. That I love them, I love being their mom, and they make my heart feel so happy. And that I will be there no matter what to help them work through things. I make sure to always sprinkle positivity before bed because she hears no and reprimands more often at school right now. I think it helps both of us. Academic says this is great. I agree. We do affirmations at our daycare, and the crazy part is they are pretty long. It was so long that after graduation, one of the parents started laughing, like, okay, this is still going. This is still happening. Yes, our affirmations they're not, I'll say about 2 to 3 minutes, which could seem like a long time when you got someone echoing after you. But we say those same affirmations day after day, every day at school. Affirmations and a story or a Bible study on Wednesdays are standardized parts of our days that are going to happen no matter what. So for sure, our kids do affirmations and we use instruments while they echo our affirmations. And I know at least one of our parents says affirmations with her children every day as she drops them off at school. Court Millpool says, maybe try asking the other staff in the room. Maybe this teacher is a bit burnt out and has too much going on and is a bit negative. That's possible too. Coco Gijo says, you can take control of the conversation. Ask her specific questions about the areas of his development. Ask if she has any positive observations. This may cause her to reflect on her communication with parents. That's a fact. Megabyte 31 says, hi. Just wanted to say that we're in a very similar boat. There are a couple of other minor issues I have with my daughter's new teachers, but one thing that has been bothering me is the constant negative feedback. And my kid is really chill and easygoing at home. So it's even weirder. I also get told problems as if it's my job to fix them. Who else's job would it? Maybe I should find out the problem. I mean, yes, I can have a conversation with my 3-year-old about stuffing too much food in her mouth, but she doesn't do it at home. Y'all got to stop saying that. Because if we based our child's development or behavior on what they don't do at home is never going to work. It's because the fact of the matter is, kids are with me at least 7 hours out the day. So if they're with me for 7 hours out the day, let's say they leave at 5 p.m. and they go home, they make it home about 6. So they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just say mom overdid it and they stayed up for 5 hours. I mean, they stayed up to 10. So that means they're going to bed at 10 o'clock at the latest, should be. You have dinner, bath, and maybe playing or a snack or whatever, however you all end your day. So basically, what I'm saying is the majority of their day is spent away from home. So to only think about what they don't do at home helps nobody. That is a reply that we get a lot, even in this thread. They don't do that at home, or potty training. They potty trained at home. It's okay. They're at school now. So since let's get them to do those things at school or to not do those things at school, but to be like, it's not my problem to fix. Yikes. Or they don't do that at home. It's different. It's so different. I just really need parents to stop saying that they don't do that at home. And then there's a lot of times they be like, they don't do that at home. I don't believe that they don't do that. Sometimes it's like your kid does this all day. So to be like, they don't do it at home, we don't believe you need more people. Because some parents will be like, I don't do that at home. And then while they're saying they don't do that at home, they're doing it right in front of you. And of course, we're watching for interaction. And nothing is done when that thing that they don't do at home, they're doing right before us. So what's the point of they don't do it at home? You're doing it at school. And to say it's not my problem to fix, go find another teacher. But it's definitely a team effort. But one thing that I know for sure is, especially at preschool age, I could get my kid to knock something off. I could get my kid to stop that, whatever the problem is, with simple conversation. So they don't do that at home. It's not a justifiable response or solution. And then you're saying it's not my problem that they stuff in their mouth. That's a choking hazard. Can we take this seriously? This is one of the other issues we have with them, but I'm really not sure what they're expecting me to do. Talk to your child about not stuffing their mouth. I will say, as a former daycare worker, not elementary school teacher, before I got my teaching certificate, I wasn't a very good teacher. I mean, I was fine, but now that I know more about how kids develop and how to communicate with families effectively, my perspective has changed a lot. I think back to my daycare days and realized I probably was pretty similar to this child's teacher, at least. I wasn't always negative or anything, but I kind of didn't know how to talk to parents about their kids. So I do try to give the teachers some grace. Our current strategy is going to see if it gets any better or if maybe it's just because it's new. I don't really feel like my daughter is getting the care I'd like. If it doesn't improve, we'll mention it to the director. Meanwhile, we're also keeping options open for other schools because I really don't want this to be the case for us for the entire year. And that's why you can't really, they're like, tell me. One post was like, I think that they're sugarcoating it. Well, when you tell them every little thing that the kid does is like, you're picking on my baby. So you have to, as teachers, find that happy medium of what to say and what not to say and when to say it and how to say it. In this profession, words are everything, I swear, to parents and children. Namza says, a lot of what you said resonates with me. I definitely don't think she's a good teacher. She is highly anxious in her demeanor and doesn't think before speaking. She says some pretty daft, never heard that word before, things to me in the past that I shrugged off, but I'm not sure certain parents would have. An example was how she went down to join the riot that escalated after the stabbing of Bishop Emmanuel, and then talking about what a good person he is when he out straight says gay people will burn in hell. Lots of gay couples and parents in our neighborhood. This rang some alarm bells for me, and I quickly extricated myself from the conversation. But all in all, I don't expect daycare educators to do anything but make my son feel safe and steer him in the right direction of the basics in life, like sharing, listening, caring for himself and others. Megabyte 31 says, yikes, yeah, that's not great, LOL. I would probably mention that conversation to a director. The teacher should not be telling parents that, especially because I'm assuming kids are in earshot. Usually they are during parent conversations. Highly inappropriate. The only thing your child's teacher should be discussing with your child and nothing really serious while other kids or your kid are there. Small updates about the day, fine. Even the not so positive ones. Agree with your last bit too, but I also want her to feel welcome and respected at school. And that's kind of where I'm not feeling it. So I'm trying to keep as updated as I can be. C. Jones 90 says the teacher is telling you these things so that you can work on them at home and it won't be an issue at school. Y'all have to be on the same page or things like those behaviors won't get fixed. That said, the teacher should also be saying nice things, even if it is something small like he was so sweet today and gave hugs, or he was such a big helper today. That's what I do, especially when I have to tell a parent their child has been. It says yes, or I use our app to share positive things that their kids have done or things we are all working on, like what fine motor skills this week or day. I try to use our app for highlighting concerns too. So drop off pickups can be all positives or just a quick touch on issues. But ideally, not all about Jack and Jill won't stop hitting each other. Do they do that at home? Instead, I want that time to be positive. That's true. Emers 28 says, yeah, my oldest new pre-K teacher is like this. He always had great relationships with his teachers before her, but she's cold and seems annoyed by him right at drop off every day. Like he literally stepped foot into the classroom. How can you already be fed up? She thinks he should be less clingy during drop off. Okay. But she also doesn't support the transition. She just wants him to magically change without any help. You're a teacher. Drop off tips. Don't make it too long. Talk about, where you're going on your way to school so that they can expect drop off. And if the teacher is mean, I mean, that's probably why y'all want to be dropped off. I'm cold. That's why I keep leaning like that. I'm cold. Trying to get some warmth on this chair. Anyway, I've only got negative feedback from her, and she says it's right in front of him. I don't see a problem with that. I'm probably gonna say like the negative day right in front of the kid because I want to talk about it. I had to call a conference with the director because I wanted to get into specifics of behaviors to work on. But I needed it to be away from the kids and productive, focused on ways we as parents could support versus just of bad behaviors as I'm rushing to work, right? That's another thing. I don't know how teachers telling y'all so much. I'm not trying to make my parents late to work with their kids' behaviors, but like one teacher said, those are things I would put on the app. Those are also things that I would email. And then somewhere, a drop off for me in the morning is not the best time to discuss your child's behaviors. Maybe at pickup, but not at drop off. Not to mention, I want you to have a good day. And most parents, if not all, care about their children. So I personally consider things like that. I don't want my parents to be at work stressed out about how their child's day is going to go because every day they see me at drop off, I have some negative stuff to say. And like the last person said, now I'm questioning how you're treating my child because you only have negative things to say about it. And that's not what I want a parent to be worried about while they're working. So yeah. Emerson 28 goes on to say, I have put my oldest on the waiting list for a different pre-K program next year, but we have to suck it up this year. We have a younger kid also at this school. So frustrating. Dougie Lou says, I'm kind of shocked by all the answers too. My mother-in-law watches my son, so he obviously the light of her life, but she certainly mentions all the things he does negatively. Friday, he spit on a book because she wouldn't let him touch it, but definitely mentions and praises all of the exciting stuff. I think it'd be hard to only hear bad things about your kid from daycare, and I might worry too. Yeah. I want to say, says, no, you are not an outlier. I pulled my daughter out of daycare when the negatives got too weird. Yes, she's a dreamer, doing her own things, may not hear or listen to teachers when she's playing, but Christ, all the negatives all the time. I would like to know what was her next daycare like. I actually once chanced up on the daycare group when they went to a nearby playground, and it was clear to me that my kid was behaving absolutely on par per the rest of the group. But the daughter of the daycare owner was clearly out of control, and the teachers were so sweet to her. They want that job. I don't know what it be with some of these daycare directors, but I have seen their children to be like, okay. Anyway, they were so sweet to her while chastising my kid. I pulled my daughter out as fast as possible and never looked back. Actually, a constant barrage of negatives is extremely bad for a kid, as well as for the kid-parent relationship. And that's indicative of something else than just the kid's behavior, either a lack of pedagogy, 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 or some pressure release. And definitely no one's kids needs to hear that brunt. Reddit it doo says, we experienced something similar after moving to a new school. After a few weeks, my kiddo's teacher started telling me all of the not so great things he'd done that day. We were interested and wanted to do whatever we could to help work on those behaviors at home. But after a few weeks, it got to me. I walked in one afternoon in tears, begging his teacher to give me some good news sometimes, even if it was just that he ate his lunch that day. Her face fell. She did not realize So, as luck would have it, my microphone died and there is no sound for the remaining 20 minutes of this video, which is no longer 20 minutes of this video, but yeah, I lost a lot of footage. Yay, editing, content, creating. So, instead of letting all of this space go to waste, I decided to do what I do best, come and rap y'all a little song. And today it is my favorite, my favorite. I call him my brother, Big Sean. This song is old, back, I don't know when it was, but it's Light with Jeremiah. Is it time? Look, I spent my whole life trying to improvise. I'm not saying that it's for you to sympathize. Spent my whole life trying to find a light that ended the tunnel. I should have realized it was inside. So lately, I've been trying to get what's inside outside. So many people want to see my insides outside. I'm from the city's 4 hours east of Southside, where everyone's outside, but don't F with no outsiders. Growing up with the ones I hold it down with. Whole city got my back on some photobomb-ish. City got up like some also dime. I want to go to prom with, take the fame, take the crib, take the cars. Now we got to take the train. Hood, taking chains, slave masters, take our names, 5-0s, take the young souls, take the blame, man. But they can't take away the light. I love Big Sean. No, they can't F with the lights. They can't stop my shine. Hell no, the boy's that bright. Even if they take away my life, you can't take the lights. Boy, this the flow that got Steph Curry inspired. This the flow that got the finna retire. This the flow that got finna retire. Flows on flows. I'm not drowning this beat. Guess I'm profound in this. My dad from Louisiana wasn't the smallest town. Dang. Shout out to him. I love Big Sean. That's my brother. Still not feeling the breakup or whatever, but yeah, shout out to Big Sean. I am a huge fan. Don't let them take away your soul. Oh no, no, no. Don't let them take away what makes you whole. I reckon this is the part where I say thank you for watching to the end. To all my tens and tens of friends, if you have tuned in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, 10.